Welcome back to Hammer Horror in Order, where the whole point of the series is right there in the title. We're watching the Hammer Films thrillers and horror releases in the order in which they were released, like chronologically, so to speak. So we've worked our way up to, let's see, March 15th of, no, yeah, March, I'm sorry, that's the U.S. date. Okay. We've worked our way up to December 9th of 1966 in the UK. Here in the U.S., it was released March 15th of 1967. And that movie is The Witches, aka The Devil's Own, which isn't necessarily representative of what's going on in this movie,
No.
but it's a better title. At least it's a more eye-catching title than just The Witches, right?
Yeah. Now, do you know the history of that or anything? Was the American title different, or was it just different region
That I can't
somewhere
remember. I
else?
believe it was. I don't remember which is which. I think it was called The
Hmm.
Devil's Own in the UK and then The Witches here. I think, but
Oh,
I could have that backwards. But it is based on a novel called The Devil's Own by that was written by Nora Lofts, who wrote it under. This was funny. Who wrote it under the pen name of Peter Curtis. So it's a woman writing this book under a man's name. So I guess maybe that was a thing. Maybe to get it released. I don't know what the reasons are for that, but
yeah.
that's what happened back then. I'm not sure what year that novel came out either. I would imagine, obviously, at least a couple years before this movie, but yeah, that's what it's based on. But so I assume that's just where the name, that other name comes from, and maybe they felt they needed to sell it in a different way in the U.S. or the
Yeah.
UK
Yeah.
by calling it The Witches. That's about as far as I went with it. But um, this was directed by Cyrel Frankel, screenplay by Nigel Kneale, which he's done a ton of things that we've talked about here on the series before, and it stars Joan Fontaine, Kay Walsh, and Alec McCowen. None of the usual, maybe a few faces that you've seen in other stuff, but for the most part, this isn't like your normal Hammer thing. No Peter Cushing, no Christopher Lee,
Yeah. Yeah.
which that probably would have helped a little bit, as we always say, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It would have at least had some. I don't know. It wouldn't help maybe necessarily with the script, but it would have helped with the general. I think it would have raised the bar on the movie a little bit, at
Yeah,
least in the acting department.
just the general enjoyment of what's going on.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Christopher Lee instead of this.
Yeah.
You might get the sense that I don't know. I mean, we haven't talked yet about our consensus yet, but
Yeah.
I don't think we like this one as much. At least I didn't.
No.
I didn't like this one.
No. 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 Not so much. I mean, like again, we talk about this Hammer. I mean, it's better than maybe some other. Just say some other studio not as well known at the time put out a movie called The Witches or whatever. It's probably better than what that would have been, just because of the quality of Hammer. But
Yeah, yeah.
when you're comparing it to other Hammer movies we've done, yeah, not the greatest.
No, it's just it's another gaslighting movie, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
yet
yeah.
Yeah.
another.
Only this time instead of your typical gaslighting thriller, it's witches.
Yeah,
We throw witches in
but I
instead of
mean
the noir,
for a
thriller
good
type.
for what would you say? Over half, if not way more, maybe damn near 75% of this movie. I was kind of thinking like, where are the witches? What are the witches?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because
You
it
just
didn't
get little
feel like
hints of
that.
things, right? Like a
Yeah,
voodoo doll type. And also the witchcraft is I don't know what kind of witchcraft you call this necessarily. I mean, it's an amalgamation of all kind of different. There's voodoo. There's your kind of what you think of when you think of '60s witches, right? When you think of
yeah.
I don't know,
It's
not really
almost.
satanic witches per se.
Well, I was going
Even
to
though
say that it is almost satanic, but it's like
yeah, yeah,
being satanic without being satanic.
yeah, yeah. It's
It's
like
like they didn't
that's
want to
where
go all the way there.
yeah, true. They pull in, like I said, they pull in these other things into a satanic witch concept, but without the devil himself until maybe close to the end, where it gets a little bit more of the occult ritual stuff going
Yeah.
on, right? But yeah, most of the movie, like you said, is leading up to something. Maybe you don't know for sure what it's leading up to, but
just
I mean,
weird.
you figure something's going on because of the voodoo doll stuff and the little
Yeah,
minor things of witchcraft that's going on. But you don't know at that point whether you know it's gaslighting in some way, shape, or
very
form,
yeah,
but
yeah.
whether there's just no witches at all, and then these stuff's going on, something
Oh,
else is going
she's
on until it gets to the end of it. Yeah,
And there's some stuff at the very beginning where like the main character, she is in a mission in Africa somewhere, I think.
yeah, yeah,
And then she faints or like has a nervous breakdown or something because some witch doctors kind of just came at her like, full
yeah, full,
like,
yeah,
tiki looking garb. Like, almost like the Scooby-Doo villainess kind of like they
yeah.
come at
That's
her,
true.
and she has a nervous breakdown, and then then eventually fast forward, she takes this job in this little small English town to be one of the teachers, and then
Yeah,
funniness is afoot. Although I don't really know, I didn't really catch what the connection was there, or
yeah. I don't think. I
was there
guess
any
not. Yeah,
connection?
because well, I don't think there was supposed to be, but there was in the sense of the voodoo witch doctor kind of thing comes back. I mean, we don't go into details exactly
Yeah, we're
where and
not.
what and
Yeah,
all this
great
stuff, but
detail.
comes back in a way, right? So
Yeah,
you're like, for some reason, that was there again. I mean, even though they're totally, you think they're totally disconnected incidences.
it's not horrible acting in this movie, but it's not top
Hmm.
notch either. I don't know.
Uh,
It suffers in a lot of ways.
yeah,
Almost so many ways it's hard to peg exactly what it is, but it's kind of forgettable and uninteresting in a lot of ways.
yeah. It's one
yeah.
of those movies where, thankfully, it's shot in a cool location where I could enjoy the landscape and the architecture of the building, these things,
Yeah.
right? But that's not what you want when you're watching. That's
No.
not necessarily the best thing that you want out of a Hammer movie or any movie. Is just to where the story's so like lacking that you just pay more attention to the background and what's going on there.
Yeah. It shouldn't just be, hey, this is a cool spot that they shot it in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There'd be more to it than that, but there's not. And it's honestly it's very predictable. You pretty much know where
Mm,
this thing is going. Maybe not subtle nuances of it, but you figure it out pretty quickly.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Another movie that you could say is similar but is way, way, way better would come about what let's see, seven, about 7 or 8 years later, I believe and I'm talking about the Wicker Man. I think the Wicker Man was
Yeah.
1973, I believe.
Yes. Way
And
better.
that's a similar concept, but carried out much better in the script writing. Well, that was also based on a novel, but I don't know about the novel, The Devil's Own. I've never read that. I've never read the Wicker Man novel either. But assuming that the stories are similar from the novel to the movies, then the Wicker Man, I would say, is much better.
Well, we did not come together beforehand for a consensus, but we can kind of talk it out here, briefly. What do y'all
Hmm.
think? Like, I'm thinking
Well,
lower tier from what we've watched, right?
yeah, yeah. I don't what
The
the
floor,
lower
I'll give you the
is.
floor. The floor, other than that, never take candy from a stranger, which we didn't rate. Other than
Yeah,
that, the floor is the damned at a hammer and a quarter. I don't think it's well,
nah,
maybe it
maybe
is. I don't know. I don't
it's
know.
not too much better than that, but
No.
it's not any worse, I guess.
And then because it
Mm.
jumps up from there, actually, like a full half a hammer to Hysteria and the Stranglers of Bombay, we gave a hammer and three quarters. So
Oh,
maybe in between those. Because just saying those,
yeah,
Yeah,
I'd probably rather watch the Stranglers of Bombay again before I'd watch
yeah,
this.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So maybe we'll call it a
Hammer,
hammer and a half. Just call it
yeah.
there.
yeah,
I mean, there's always wiggle room, so maybe it ain't quite as
yeah.
bad as the Dam because I don't think any of us really like that one. But yeah, it's not good. Hammer wise, hammer
Hammer
quality.
wise, yeah,
Yeah.
It's not. I expect more from them.
yeah,
This
yeah,
this feels like canned. This feels generic in a way, and there's
yeah,
almost no uh, tense tenseness to it. It's like if you feel no real danger for something where a woman is being like pursued by a witch's coven or whatever is going on here, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
think that there'd be more danger.
yeah,
It just doesn't feel like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And it just has that weird section where, again, we're not really getting into details, but let's say she goes out of the village and into, well, we already talked about the gaslighting thing, right? And so
Yeah.
she kind of goes into an asylum, or not, or a nursing home, whatever you want to call it,
I think it's a
whatever,
rest home. A rest home.
rest home rather,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for her
Sanitarium.
mental condition or whatever.
Hmm.
And I don't know how long that's going. It seems like a while, right? Even though it doesn't take much screen time. She's there for a year, maybe,
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
right?
it's
Something like that.
some long amount of time.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't. like I said, they don't use much screen time there. I mean,
No.
probably not more than 10 minutes, if that.
Well,
But
I think a hammer and a half is a good spot for this one with,
yeah,
wiggle room to, maybe adjust one of these days. I mean, we don't necessarily do that with these, but there's always a way, right?
yeah,
Onward and upward, I think, hopefully, because
Yeah, I hope so.
next month we finally enter 1967. I think it's pretty safe to say this will be upward. Frankenstein created woman
oh yeah,
is next up. So
yeah,
next month we'll be talking about that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, especially after watching this one. And
yeah.
I think it's even beyond that, we got some good ones lined up in the coming months here on Hammer Horror and Order. So make sure you check out all the other stuff here on the YouTube channel, including Grindhouse Gutter and the new and improved quote unquote version of Video Vortex, where we just give you 5 reasons to watch or avoid something. That started up over there. So just search here on the YouTube channel. Go, click subscribe, bell to be notified, and all that. Go check out all the other stuff. And of course, the All American Spookshow podcast comes out every Monday at 6 p.m. East, wherever you get your podcast, or right here on the channel. So go check that out. So we'll talk to you next month.